Thank you for joining us for this look at the best original reporting from KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Coming up, those who served America finally become Americans. See the emotional moments as veterans who were once deported take the oath of citizenship. A trip to the Comic-Con Museum will show you the two new exhibits that celebrate the history and artistry of comics and animation. And something new in one of the most mysterious places on Earth. Local scientists play a role in discovering a new species of deep-sea fish. And we start with a legal fight over equal pay for equal work. A longtime San Diego news anchor is suing the local station that she worked for. She told her story to KPBS reporter Kitty Alvarado.
It's been almost 4 years since Sandra Moss signed off the air.
My time is up here at KUSI. This is my last newscast here.
But Moss claims that was not her choice. She claims that she was fired after she asked for a raise.
I worked at KUSI for 15 years, really put my heart and soul into my work there and loved my job. And the year before I left, I discovered that my co-anchor was being paid 40% more than I was for doing the same job.
She says learning that hurt.
Shock, betrayal, humiliation. I was sad.
She's suing her former employer, McKinnon Broadcasting, for violating California's Equal Pay Act and age discrimination law.
You know, I had two choices. I could walk away silently and bury my humiliation and shame over losing my job in such a disrespectful, disappointing way, or I could share my story and take back my power and try to make a difference for other women in the workplace.
Court documents show Moss made $80,000 less than her co-anchor.
Employers who have been discriminating against women, even unintentionally in setting their pay, have to mend their ways.
Miranda McGowan is a professor at the University of San Diego School of Law. Her areas of expertise include gender and discrimination law. She says California law is clear when it comes to equal pay, and it's a lot more stringent than federal law.
So I think the message employers should get is start paying women what they're actually worth.
Moss is suing for past, future wages lost, and emotional distress, but would not discuss what that was worth in dollars and cents.
KUSI viewers will be surprised to learn how women are treated behind closed doors.
Moss says she never imagined her nearly 40 years in broadcasting would end like this.
But I'm hoping that in the coming weeks that the new chapter will be a better ending for me.
We reached out to KUSI. They did not return our calls for comment. Kitty Alvarado, KPBS News.
Another story about equity in the workplace is playing out in East County, and this one involves the right of healthcare workers to unionize. KPBS health reporter tells us what's happening behind the scenes at Sharp Grossmont Hospital.
San Diego's only East County hospital has voted to unionize more than 1,400 healthcare workers. Registered nurses are already represented. This new union covers a variety of positions, including certified nursing assistants, pharmacy technicians, and respiratory therapists.
I'm walking through the hallways. People are hugging and smiling. They're excited about this.
Hava Serrano is an emergency room technician at Sharp Grossmont Hospital. He voted to join SEIU United Healthcare Workers West, and he's hoping it will bring better pay and more staff.
This isn't just about wages and staffing. This is about quality care for our patients. We have always said we'll take care of them. No matter how many come through the door, no matter what the situation is, we will always take care of our patients. But now we have this feeling of we are going to get taken care of.
Serrano and some of his coworkers spoke during a recent La Mesa City Council meeting. A resolution was passed there in support of free and fair elections at Sharp Grossmont Hospital.
I've been with Sharp since 2015. My reason for joining a union is to have a voice I want to see changes that fill the needs for staffing, better pay, and worker safety.
The vote to unionize was 55% in favor, and it still needs to be certified by the National Labor Relations Board. After that comes elections for bargaining committees, then getting a new contract.
We're hoping that Sharp works with us and is able to, give us what we need to keep going.
Before voting ended, Sharp healthcare officials filed a claim with federal labor officials alleging intimidating and threatening organizing efforts from the union. Union officials called it a desperate attempt to influence the election and divert attention away from low wages and staffing. A Sharp spokesperson issued a statement saying they have more than 1,700 open positions, and since the pandemic, filling them has been a challenge. They maintain wages are competitive and increased staff pay late last year. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
The use of force by law enforcement is back in the headlines in recent weeks. KPBS education reporter MG Perez visited a South Bay college where campus police say they're working to create a community for change.
For patrol,
Officer David Felix is talking about the department-issued AR-15 rifle he carries in his car on patrol across Southwestern College's Chula Vista campus. He also carries a taser, a baton, and a Glock 22 pistol. But his most effective tool is communication.
This is a perfect example where I get out, I say hi to people, say hi to the counselors. I'm surprised they don't have a chair for me or something already for me. So, approach a couple students if they have questions. And they do have questions, ranging from how do I become a police officer to, hey, I got involved in this situation. How can I help myself from getting into further trouble?
Can you show me doing a ride-along with 2 and F-34?
Felix is one of the 9 sworn officers on the Southwestern College police force. He has also served in the Los Angeles Police Department, and he has seen the video of Memphis police beating Tyree Nichols.
That was aggressive style of policing, and if you do that here, you better have a pretty good reason why you're acting and saying a few things like they did in the video.
It hurts me because I love my profession. I believe in the profession.
Marco Barreño is Southwestern's chief safety officer. He's felt the sting of brutality brought on by other police across the country, starting with the murder of George Floyd in 2020.
I have 2 sons, both in high school. And they were ashamed to say that their father was a police officer at the time. And not ashamed because they're proud of me and what I do. It's just from what was happening.
And it kept on happening. That's when Southwestern College Police decided they needed help to change the public's perception and earn trust. So they partnered with the Urban League of San Diego County, which has organized focus groups between students, staff, police, and other community members who want solutions. Al Abdallah is president and CEO of the local Urban League.
Every law enforcement officer across the country is now under a microscope. Are you like Memphis or proud of Memphis, Minneapolis with George Floyd? Do you have murderers on your payroll? These are questions that have to be asked.
And the Urban League collaboration focus groups have answered those questions and built bridges to de-escalate police-involved confrontations. It's working, according to Southwestern student trustee Jose Perez.
If I were under a situation or a circumstance where there would be a threat, I would have that feeling of security, knowing that they are going to be there present and they're going to do their job right.
The bar to prove the guilt of the EMT or the paramedic is lower than the bar of unreasonable doubt in a criminal case.
The curriculum at the Southwestern Otay Mesa campus for the college's police academy and other first responder programs includes real-time current events.
Right. Oh no, oh my God, the car, I forgot.
With lessons in ethics and legal courses that go beyond the textbooks. That has only inspired paramedic student Slater Lee even more. He's seen the video with Memphis police and EMTs who were also fired.
It's horrible that it ever happened, but to be someone that could potentially respond and make a difference in a positive light for anyone in any of those horrible situations would be motivating.
Talia Raz is Slater's classmate. She is committed to her mental health in responding to critical calls involving patients in worst-case scenarios.
I think it's about understanding what just happened and mentally and emotionally processing it. That way you're not left with traumatic thoughts about it later in time. So you really do have to process the calls that you run, and then you're able to move on from it.
Back on the Chula Vista campus, Officer Felix is moving on with his patrol, proud of the progress his department is making. So is the police chief.
I may not be able to change every police department out in the United States, but I can start with mine. And we've started a culture here in Southwestern that focuses on trust, focuses on helping people, focuses on being transparent, and giving those answers to the people we serve.
As another day ends in the best-case scenario. MG Perez, KPBS News.
And that story is an example of the in-depth feature reporting from the KPBS newsroom. You can stream more anytime on the KPBS YouTube page, and that's where we also live stream KPBS Evening Edition weeknights at 5. The United States has deported thousands of military veterans who weren't born here, but some of those vets are now being allowed to return to the U.S. As KPBS reporter John Carroll shows us, 2 of them became citizens this week.
In a 5th-floor conference room in the downtown offices of the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, a ceremony for 2 vets who served this country but then got deported. Retired District Director of the San Diego USCIS office, Deborah Rogers, quoted from a poem by Archibald MacLeish in her opening remarks.
The freedom of man and mind is nothing but a dream. They are right. It is the American dream.
The American dream come true at last for Army vets Leonel Contreras Tarango and Mauricio Hernandez Mata. Rogers detailed their service. Contreras, who joined up in 1976 at the age of 17, he served for a year and was honorably discharged. Hernandez, who served from 2000 to 2006, doing tours in Afghanistan, winning numerous medals. Rogers administered the oath of citizenship.
So help me God.
Let me introduce you to our newest citizens.
After receiving their naturalization certificates, Contreras and Hernandez spoke about what this day means to them.
I feel ecstatic. I feel very blessed. I feel very happy to be back on American soil.
For all you that weren't there, we did all those things for you all as well, so you all wouldn't have to. That's why many people couldn't walk in my shoes, because a lot of people are self-serving. We are not. We are servants of the people.
It was a very happy feeling, a lot of butterflies and a lot of happiness. Unbelievably, I couldn't believe it was happening, but it was, and it's a lot of joy.
Anybody that is willing to lay down their life, their sanity, and give up everything that they hold dear for American freedom should be eventually at one point in their lives considered a U.S. citizen, become a U.S. citizen, and have those same rights that American citizens that we fight for have.
And now they do. John Carroll, KPBS News.
And here are some of the stories that got the attention of our online audience this week. Sheriff's video of a 2019 taser incident is finally released. Learn how it took the work of the First Amendment Coalition to bring it to light. Some of you might want to hold off on filing taxes. Why California's tax refund issued last year might complicate things. And the Del Mar Fairgrounds has a new live music venue. We have a tour of the sound. Comic-Con is still months away, but there's a lot happening right now at the new Comic-Con Museum in Balboa Park. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando has an inside look at 2 new exhibits, starting with an interactive experience all about the artistry of animation.
You may not recognize this face or know Bill Farmer's name, but you know his voice.
For the last 36 years, I've been doing cartoons and movies and television shows with such characters as, gosh, Goofy's one of my favorites, and his pal Pluto. Woo! Yes, I get paid to bark.
You can also hear his voice as part of the new Animation Academy exhibit at the Comic-Con Museum.
This is a very interactive exhibit where you learn about the history of animation, some pioneers in animation you may not know about. There's a lot of hands-on things where you can actually animate things and learn the process. And it's all that behind-the-scenes stuff that you may not know about that really is intriguing about this exhibit.
Troy Carlson, CEO of Stage 9 Exhibits that designed the show, has been obsessed with animation since he was a kid making Super 8 movies. He wanted the exhibit to pay tribute to the pioneers of animation.
From the early years up to the early computer animation, and show the process of animation, and show all the work that goes into it, and kind of deconstruct the process of animation so that it's a very hands-on, engaging exhibit where people can make their own stop-motion movie, they can draw their own characters, they can learn what goes into making an animated film.
One of Carlson's favorite spots is the stop-motion studio where they actually made a Gumby film.
You know, one thing we want to showcase in Animation Academy is that you don't have to have fancy sets. So the sets that we used for this were made out of like cereal boxes. Just use your imagination and you can create your own animated film.
That's the magic of animation.
It's heightened reality, really. You can do things in animation you can't do in real life. And it's the thoughts and ideas of all these animators. Without the rules of physics interfering, you can fall from an airplane and get up and you're okay.
The exhibit does try to explain some of the magic behind animation. Whether it's an old film setup for shooting single frames of animation, or this giant zoetrope that shows how a pre-filmed device produced the illusion of animation.
So when you watch it, your mind is filling in the gaps and you're getting the illusion of movement.
If you want to learn more about animation, or see if you have the patience to make a stop-motion film, then you'll want to enroll at the Animation Academy.
I say, boy, come on down, enjoy it, get animated.
From the Animation Academy, I'm Beth Accomando for KPBS News. And that's all, folks. Comic-Con International has become a global phenomena, attracting upwards of 135,000 people for the San Diego Pop Culture Convention. It began on a much smaller scale in 1970 with just 300 people attending. In that inaugural year, it created a souvenir book that's now a treasured memento from each year's show. The book always features the work of top artists in the industry on the cover, like the co-creator of Captain America, says Comic-Con spokesperson David Glanzer.
Comic-Con started, as you know, as a very small little gathering, and to have Jack Kirby artwork that first year was just remarkable, and we've been lucky ever since to have some really incredible artists contribute to Comic-Con.
The new exhibit, Cover Story, 5 Decades of Comic-Con, celebrates the artists who have contributed cover designs for the souvenir books.
What's great about the artists who participated not only in the cover designs, but in the books themselves, was really people who didn't get necessarily a lot of mainstream attention. And yet Comic-Con was a venue that they could come to, be feted and heralded for their work and appreciated. It's wonderful that you can see the work that they've done.
The exhibit includes some original artwork that's amazing to see up close.
I like a lot of the older ones because to me it's just a remarkable peek back into the history of Comic-Con and how we started so small and yet had monumental artists who were willing to contribute to the success of the event.
Comic-Con Museum allows the Pop Culture Convention to finally have a brick-and-mortar place to showcase some of its own history.
We do have material, and I think now we have the ability to kind of showcase that. This is one of the first things. We'll see what else we have. But it's wonderful to let people know, especially those who visit San Diego and are familiar with the convention, to know a little bit about our history.
You can enjoy 5 decades of cover art, along with the Animation Academy at the Comic-Con Museum. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
It started in 1964 with the invention of the Moog synthesizer, and throughout the rest of the 60s and the 70s, the generation of electronic music would take off. A leading pioneer is featured in a documentary that aired this week on KPBS television, and KPBS reporter John Carroll talked to the filmmaker documenting the remarkable career of Don Lewis.
There is a truth behind music that those of us who perform it sometimes find hard to swallow. It is, in fact, based on mathematics. Don Lewis loved music from the time he was a child, but he majored in electronics engineering at the former Tuskegee Institute before going into the Air Force as a nuclear weapons specialist. But when he got out, he answered his musical call.
everybody had their own idea what their synthesizer should sound like.
He wanted to find a way to combine all the sounds made by individual synthesizers. He began in 1974. 3 years later, Leo, the live electronic orchestra, was born.
I mean, it had stacks of keyboards on top, here and here on the side. And to me, it was a matter of pulling them all together.
Stacks of keyboards, an invention that's the ancestor to systems used in music production today. And you can see it at the Museum of Making Music in Carlsbad.
It was through the Museum of Making Music that I was introduced to Don Lewis. And it didn't take me too long after getting to know Don that I said, well, this might be the story I always thought needed to be told, because Don was the missing link, the personification of this technology.
Carlsbad's Ned Augustenborg is the producer, director, and editor of the documentary Don Lewis and the Live Electronic Orchestra. It shows you his place in the development of electronic music.
His whole concept was to be a live electronic orchestra.
Julie and Don Lewis were married for almost 45 years until Don's death late last year. He played in nightclubs in San Diego and in L.A. One night, the Beach Boys heard him and hired him as their opening act. He did a lot of studio session work with the likes of Quincy Jones, Marvin Hamlish, and Michael Jackson. But his passion was live performing. Julie says Don was at his happiest when sharing music with an audience using his remarkable invention.
It's the way he thought, it's who he was. It was his manner of art.
Along the way, there were struggles. When Lewis was booked to perform at certain places in San Francisco, the Musicians Union local there objected and picketed against him.
This was very threatening to the union. They felt strongly that synthesizers were not real instruments.
But Lewis pushed forward. He worked for Roland Synthesizers and later for Yamaha, playing a major role in the development of the DX7, used by dozens of musicians during the 80s.
And you had to love him. You didn't have any choice, because you just feel the vibrations of his warmth and his desire to learn about you.
Don Lewis is one of those people who's worth getting to know, and that's what Ned Augustenborg's documentary does, opening a window into the life of a remarkable soul who left a legacy of sheer joy through music and his invention he used to make it.
I want to pass that baton to as many people as I possibly can. And that gives me great hope.
John Carroll, KPBS News.
San Diego researchers have identified a new species of fish in the deep ocean waters near Costa Rica. KPBS environment reporter Eric Anderson shows us how an underwater video and some detective work led to the discovery.
Researchers were looking for large ocean mussels when they sent a robotic submarine 6,000 feet under the ocean surface. The target was the Heco Scar near Costa Rica. Charlotte Seed is the collection manager for benthic invertebrates at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography.
It's an area where methane is coming up from the seafloor, but at a slightly higher temperature than the rest of the ocean, which apparently is enough to attract animals that normally only like it hot at hydrothermal vents.
You should be able to see an almond footprint.
The researcher piloting the Schmidt Ocean Institute's unstaffed submersible has been here before, and it didn't take long to find prime mussel habitat among a minivan-sized tangle of worm shells. Seed points out the tangled habitat anchored on the seafloor in the video recorded by the dive team.
This is a fantastic group of tube worms. So these animals, each one looks sort of like a piece of pasta, but they're growing together. They're anchored in the sediment. They're getting energy from the chemicals and the microbes that live inside their tubes. And it's a great place to be a tube worm. Look at all of them.
It's also where the team recorded video of the newly identified and pink eel pout.
A little fish.
The color doesn't mean much on the ocean floor, where it's cold and dark.
There's probably no need for it to look especially flashy or to have extraordinary camouflage.
The fish looks like a small eel, and some species have a downturned mouth, reminding some of a sad, pouting fish.
You can see they don't move very fast. They don't go too far from their homes. So it's gone right back into shelter.
Seed says the fish lives on the ocean floor, and while the pink fish stands out on video, that color really can't be seen in the dark water. And they also haven't been seen outside of this geographically specific underwater habitat. Ben Frabel is the manager of one of the world's largest marine vertebrate collections located in San Diego.
This section is kind of the group of fish, eel pouts, and their relatives. So as you can see, we have quite a lot of different species.
He's showing us what's best described as a fish library. The shelves, floor to ceiling, are full of underwater creatures perfectly preserved in sealed jars. This was Frabel's first stop to identify the samples brought back by researchers in 2018. Since the samples didn't match up with anything, Frabel turned to published literature.
I've taken a look, I'm going through the books, going through references, trying to match them up. They're not really resonating with anything I'm seeing.
So Frabel reached out to a colleague in Denmark. Peter Rask Muller is the curator of the Danish Natural History Museum, and he's considered an authority on deep-sea bottom-living fishes.
He immediately recognized it as this genus that has only been described in the last 20 years. It's called Pyrolycus. It means pyro, fire, lycus, wolf, fire wolf.
Rask Muller knew immediately the fish was something new. Frabel says that helps explain the lack of scales and the number and location of sensory pores on their bodies. Those pores are key to helping the fish find food.
These animals are living in environments that are pitch black, so they're kind of relying on not just their eyes, but other organs for sensing movement and prey and food around them.
There are only 4 samples available to researchers, 2 in San Diego and 2 in Denmark. And Frabel says it's a reminder of how little scientists know about life on the ocean floor. The findings are published in the current edition of the journal Zootaxia. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
And we hope that you enjoyed this look at KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Thanks for joining us.